This video is going to show you a solo flawless master Presage during the last few weeks of Season of the Lost on a Peregrine Greaves Titan. For those who just want to see the run, then skip the timestamps you have built to you. Other than that, I can show you what the build was, etc. So this mission is going to be sunset in a couple of weeks, hence why I'm going to sort of spam a couple of uploads on this mission. There's other things I'm going to do, but I wanted to use this build that I was messing around with in this mission because it's a good place to do it, because there's a lot of tanky targets, things like that. So the build is as follows. We're on a top tree Striker Titan, core of the Earthshaker. We post Grenade, Tower and Barricade. We pair that with the exotic boots Peregrine Greaves, which gives you bonus damage while you're airborne, doing a shoulder charge on a boss, enemy, whatever it might be. Thing is, you can stack it with stuff. You can use focus and lens on this and use cryostasia and do it that way. You can do that. Or you could use the stasis trace rifle, just you cost super energy, which you could do that. That's not bad. You know, so you can sort of solo proc focus and lens, but I wasn't wanting to do it that way. I was wanting to do it with maximum uptime on my shoulder charge, so always get my shoulder charge back, which is why I went with the exotic auto rifle Monte Carlo, which it basically gives you melee ability energy when you do damage or get kills with enemies. And you'll see that in the run itself. So we paired those two together, perfect synergy. Then we've got a shotgun on with trench barrel. So this is like 1-2 punch, but it's the reverse. So when you melee hit a boss, you get damage to the weapon, whereas the 1-2 punch is the other way around. So 1-2 punch, you can't use it with the Peregrine Greaves build. Not like you can with Middle Tree Hammers or Arc Strider, Liar's Handshake, stuff like that. So this works better with trench barrel is all I'm trying to say. So I used a shotgun with trench barrel, boss spec. Threaded needle for long range engagements, and it's void with a boss spec in it. And this is the build to have a really high uptime on your shoulder charge. So first you want 100% strength. That'll give you 35-second cooldown base from the get-go. You can halve that. I haven't timed it. I'll probably end up timing it and say throughout the run what it was. But you can half that time with a mod called Heavy Handed. So Heavy Handed, while charged with light, regain half of your melee energy when you use a charged melee ability, which you would be doing, and it consumes 1 stack. Also, there's a caveat to that. You get extra ammo for fusion rifles and shotguns and things like that when you're surrounded, which is also top tier perk with this. But that's the main thing, is getting half of your melee ability back. Right, so you're halving that. There's other things I've got to assist with that. So we've got double outreach. When you use your class ability, you get melee energy back. They stack. And then we've also got Radiant Light on, so we get plus 20%, plus 20 strength. It just assists to get me the 100% on the strength. And then we've got double melee kickstart, which you need Stasis Gauntlets for. So when you use your melee energy, when it's fully expanded, you gain melee energy back. So all that synergizes, and then even if all of that fails, I just shoot the boss with Monte Carlo for about 5 seconds, and I get my shoulder charge back. So it's an exceptional way of just getting my shoulder charge up as 100% uptime, 80% uptime on that melee. Other things I had on: double concussive dampener, I had shield break charge, take and charge, so we get charge of light for our heavy handed. Those are the 2 ways. And that was pretty much everything with the setup itself. Is the run. So I'll provide some extra commentary on the run, even though most people know what's going on with this mission and stuff. Even if you know what's going on, most people prefer with commentary than without. As it's got, the video has a bit more soul to it. It's not like lifeless sort of thing. I sort of do commentary runs and non-commentary runs, because I can't have every video be commentary runs. If you don't know, if you're a busy person and you upload a lot of videos on Destiny as well as other things in life, you haven't always got the time to be like doing commentary and stuff on top of a run, right? There's a lot of content creators, they'll just make a video, boom, upload it to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, and they're not doing commentary on those simply because they might not have the time to do that. So the commentary is not a guarantee, it's an extra that I'll provide because it's a popular thing. Just know that. So if I upload a video with no commentary, you don't need to sort of say, well, why isn't there any? Because you'll know why there isn't any, because I won't have had time to do it. for the most part, I generally try and do the commentary on it, unless it's a video that's doesn't need much explanation, then I don't provide it. So as I was saying with this build, you'll see the build come into its own when we get to the fighting section. Obviously this is just the maze part. For the most part you can save a bit of time on this class with the shoulder charge. Just sort of shoulder charge around corners and things like that. So it's good for that. It's not for everybody. This, I mean, for the most part I know people are going to run the military hammers, which I do myself. If you're going to do that though, you need to make some bind and setting changes on your, if you're doing it on controller. Obviously on PC you know, you do what you do, but on controller what you need to do is set a bind to your charged melee, and then your uncharged melee knock it off. So when you're on military hammers, the only thing that you can do is throw your hammer. You can't do melees. Once you do that little change, you can use military hammers, because obviously we know if you don't change that, when you try and throw your hammer at a boss, you're just going to melee him rather than throw the hammer. So it's critical you do that, and I highly recommend that build, which I'm going to sort of use that a bit more in future videos for these last couple of weeks before Witch Queen as well. But I wanted to showcase this one off just to show how good this one is as well, because shoulder charge got a buff recently, so it ends up being really good in terms of damage. If you didn't notice there, I'm trying to jump over the scrapes to make one, you know, a couple of them explode, just so that when we go back for the fuse there isn't like 5 scrapes, because even though it is master and this power level is a lot lower than what say most people are, you can still get one shot by 2 scrapes exploding, right? Because you sort of capped at the activity, so you still got to be aware of it, even though it's, you know, an older mission. When you do a solo on it, you still need to be aware of what can really hurt you. And I haven't got protective light on, right? Because obviously I'm using the heavy-handed setup. So we'll get the fuse section. The best thing you can do is just look up at where you are, jump up in the air. If the first set of fuses aren't on, then you can move to sort of the middle and then the other side. But I saw that there was a fuse to the left side there, if you saw. Now if you get a fuse on the outside, on the outskirts, it needs to be taken down immediately, because if you try to do what I'm doing, where you jump over the screens and then look, by the time you've done that you'll have missed a fuse. This section, if you don't get it right first time, will cost you a minute 30 in time, and you can't afford that. If you've got the, you know, the best setup, lament setups with a horde, even anarchy or whatever, then you're fine. But on this setup I need to be a bit more optimized, because it is good, don't get me wrong, it's exceptional. I found it very fun doing it, but there's parts where it's slower than what it would be if I'd used an effective loadout. So we took out the 2 snipers. I'm going to try and take out these captains as soon as possible, because I don't want them putting their tether up all the time. I can actually break their match game shield, their void shielded. I can break their match game shield with Peregrine. It actually penetrates the match game shield and almost kills a captain, which that just shows you that's good damage. And I can follow that shoulder charge up with the shotgun, because obviously the shotgun's then going to get tranche barrel times 3. You can use that just to finish the captains off, which that's what I do for the majority of the way I handle captains and things. We just finished off the remainder of Ravagers, and then we're now 1940. That's the first combat room done. That's good time. I know right away that's decent time. I'm on track. Anything below 19 minutes, I'm slacking a little bit. So once you start doing an activity over and over and over, especially if there's a time associated with it, you get to sort of know how well you're doing. Right? That's why I kind of like timed activities. I know a lot of people don't. But this is the only mission that sort of reminds me of 0 Hour. And 0 Hour used to have a time, and Whisper as well. This is gone, so for the most part we're not going to have like a time mission like this, to this scale. Right? But obviously the new year, I hope in Witch Queen we have something that sort of, you know, has a mission like this, where it's a difficult team run, but it's also a difficult solo, especially if it's time based. and there'll be a master version of it with champs. It was unfortunate that this didn't have champs. So we'll take out the Solar Captain. Now we're going to get ready for the Ogre. I'll pre-charge my jump and my Peregrine, and I'll do my 3 trench barrel shots. That'll get a Ogre half HP. And these Ogres, these Ogres are very tanky. They've got a lot of health. Their health goes bigger than what, say, an unstoppable champ would be, for sure. So doing half HP off just a shoulder charge 3 shotgun shots is really high burst damage. I know the military hammers can sort of kill them in 1-2 hammers, especially when you've got tractor cannon 1-2 punch shotgun. I know you can do that, and it is a better build for what we're doing, like for what I'm doing. But as I said, I'm showcasing this build off because it's something you don't see every day. Now I'm doing damage on the second Ogre. You'll notice one thing that's really good about it is it's blinding the Ogres as I'm doing that. So you saw the Ogre blinded, so I sort of hid behind the Ogre so that the other Ogre couldn't hit me, because I don't want to kill an Ogre yet, right? So I'm optimizing time here because I'm actually prepping the next Ogre before I kill the first Ogre, because if you kill the first Ogre you then get a fresh lot of captains, and then you can't pay attention to Ogres after that. So I'm just making best of everything. I've run out of shotgun ammo, which is unfortunate. So we'll use a bit of threaded needle. We then kill an Ogre. We're up here ready, so I've prepped myself. Then we'll use a super. Use a super to take out the Void Captain and the 2 snipers. Once you take those out, you're halfway there. And then the Ravengers will jump up, so they're easily spawn killed. You know, so you're safe. You've got safety from the 2 captains down below. And it's just the Ravengers that are a threat, which you can sort of easily take those out and farm them up for your melee. Obviously I've got my melee, which I'm going to use it in a minute. Just looking where the Ogre is. He's there. Do our shoulder charge, and that's that second Ogre killed. Really good. Take out the Solar Captain. This shotgun's excellent. I really do like this 7 solar shotgun. Really good. Take out the remaining lurkers. I've got another shoulder charge which we're going to use on the Captain. Blinds all the enemies as well. On hit. That's a good change. That's only new that they made the change to shoulder charge. We're just about 16 minutes just under, so I know I'm on good time. So you can see there the build working well. I'm getting my shoulder charge in no time. Literally 10 to 15 seconds once everything's teed up. If I've got charge of light, then I get the shoulder charge, I do my damage, I do a barricade. If I do a bit of damage with Monte Carlo, I've literally just got my melee back to go again. As long as I've got plenty of shotgun ammo, then you can get all your burst damage out. Now we're back to the maze section. If you're unfamiliar with the routing on these maze sections, then like I say this every time, I do repeat myself a lot, but literally just practice it on normal. Practice the routing on normal, because there is no timer, so you can sort of explore this ship, you know, on where you need to go, what you need to do. But you should know the routing like the back of your hand, so when you do come to the master version, the route isn't the problem. The problem will be the boss and things like that. So then it's just a case of you learn the boss, you learn, you know, the Ogre section and stuff like that. I used the thread needle there for the fuse takedown just to speed things up. And then we're on to this sort of mini next section. There's this bit's a little bit annoying. There's 2 Void Captains, the shielded lurkers, whatever they're called, and some Screaves. So I'm just trying to put in some damage before the Screaves get here. I wouldn't recommend going there yet until you take out all the Screaves. Take out these shielded lurkers first. I haven't got particle deconstruction on, of course, just because I didn't really need it so much for the build. Because I was wanting to have the the shotgun and the melee do most of my damage. The very nearly is just for some assistance on, you know, some ad clear and things like that, and the void shields, of course. Take out the Lost Void Captain. I'm gonna switch. Just need to kill the turret and the fuse, and then get in the buff again. It's such a shame that they're doing away with this mission that the sun's setting. I don't see why they can't just add it to the Legends Director. I'm sure that's what that's there for. I understand it's tied to Tangled Shore, right? But to be fair, this Tangled Shore's been out way longer than what this mission has. It hasn't. I feel as though this mission hasn't been out long enough. Because what you need to realise as well is when there's a new expansion out, like a Witch Queen, like a major one, you get loads of new players. So yeah, us veteran players, yeah, we've played this mission a lot, right? But I'd rather have it as a pinnacle drop. Keep it in the game, have it as a pinnacle drop. So then the pinnacle leveling system is healthy when Witch Queen comes out, so there's plenty of pinnacles. I know they want us to play the new stuff, but generally from what I've saw in the new expansions, like Barricade, Beyond Light, there's never been enough pinnacles. Beyond Light, there wasn't enough pinnacles when we were leveling up. And that's just a thing that they could keep this mission, have it as a pinnacle drop, and veteran players aren't going to complain that it stays here. I'm sure they're not. And then new players will be able to experience this mission because it's one of the best designed missions that we've ever had. Like I say, it's like a 0 hour type mission. Very good. I don't know if it's as good as 0 hour, maybe not. It's well designed. Everything that you've got to do, you've got to learn it. It's not just a mission at that point. It's something else. Just below 12 minutes, so we're not bad on time either. For any solo that you're doing on this, you want to aim for a 10-minute mark on the boss, minimum. That's the time you really want. If you start having less time than that, then that's when you're going to struggle to get your solo in. We'll get a shoulder charge on this raider here, then I'll turn around and do the fuse. And then we can come in here immediately. You can make it in one buff, but I just prefer to do it like this. I'll do a barricade for melee energy there. Right, I'll stun the first sniper, shoulder charge the second. It's just a safer way of doing it. I do lose a bit of time for it, but I can allow for that because I'm 11 minutes at the boss. Get all our reloads, and then we can start off with the boss fight. So how I start this on this setup is I'll start with the strike, 3 or 4 shotgun shots, that makes him immune. Then we'll do double pulse here and then take down the soul shield. That just frees up one side of the room, that's all. We'll do another barricade. Notice the melee energy. If you're watching this, I would recommend just keep an eye on my melee recharge rate. Right, so I've literally just used it on the boss and I literally just got it back. That captain pushed me harder than I realised. That's fine though. Before I go in there for the shoulder charge, I'm going to kill the stalkers first. See what it is, I don't have solar resist on, and you'll notice I'm getting hit harder than what I probably should be. Because as I said, I haven't got solar resist and I haven't got protective light. Because I had radiant light on the chest plate, which I did want to use. I could have mixed it round, shuffled the build around, sure I could have done. But because I'm so accustomed to this run, I could do it without the resistance. Okay. Obviously if I wasn't accustomed to it and I wasn't really practicing it, then I'll be running the optimal resistances. But I'm using a unique setup. Okay. Get the 3 switches. And then we can get ready for damage. Now it's interesting how I do this because essentially I end up doing ad clear. I sort of need good ad clear down bottom with the boss. So I sort of fight with the boss, right? So as soon as you come down here, you sort of want to know the ad spawns a bit better. Generally, for the most part, don't bother with much ad clear in this. But in this I'm gonna. So I'll save a super for this. Because the super's not really gonna do me much damage. On top tree striker, the super it is still a little weak. if I'm going to say. I would maybe like to have seen it got a damage buff. A bit more of a damage bonus or something, because it's still weak. So instead we just take out the Arc Captains and the Ravengers. There's 2 Arc Captains spawn per phase. Now if you leave 2 Arc Captains up, I believe you know, you get another 2 if you leave them alive for each phase. I'll do a bit of Freddy Neal damage, because what I'm wanting to do here is be close to an exit zone, because you start to take obviously the tick damage. So rather than do the shoulder charge shotgun, I just wanted to do Freddy Needle then retreat. That's literally one of the only times I really use Freddy Needle on the boss, not much. For the most part I'll use it to take snipers, stuff like that. Here's Monte Carlo's range, it's not bad at all. There's 2 snipers on this phase. You also get an additional phase of Screaves. Second phase you get additional phase of Screaves, and then the last phase it's Ravengers, I believe. Or it can be one or the other. Sort of, I think it's different between the 2. But you get more waves the longer it goes on. We'll use the shoulder charge here. As you can see, penetrates the solar shield, and we just finish up with shotgun shots. It's really good. I'm also sort of mini farming my grenades up. Right, you can see I'm nearly double pulse, which I'm going to use the double pulse. So I'm sort of doing my shoulder charge, doing a barricade, whatever you, to sort of get my next shoulder charge for the next captain and do it like that. So by the time I finish this rotation, I have 2 fresh pulse nades for downstairs, if I need them, which I'll use them on the knights to take down their shield and then just shotgun them down. Because on this second phase, rather than farm a Cerberus, which generally that's what I'll do, I'll use a Font of Wisdom build and stuff like that, and farm with Cerberus. But on this setup, rather than wait for a Cerberus, just get on with it. Kill the captains with the pulse and the shotgun and then move on. But as I said, I end up clearing downstairs. It just makes it a little bit easier, because then I can sort of showcase the power of what damage the shoulder charge is doing with the shotgun combo. So we're 6 minutes in, we've got 2 more phases, so we're on an optimal time. It's like 3 minutes a phase, around about that on this sort of strat. When I'm doing a shoulder charge on the boss as well, I'll let him stomp first, right? Now the boss can also teleport. Now what I've found with the teleportation, obviously he's not meant to teleport, but from what I've saw recently, let him teleport. Go down the bottom expecting him to teleport, right? If you do that, let him teleport, he won't teleport again. So run past him, he'll sort of teleport close to you, and then you can just run past him, and then he sort of resets the boss, stops him from teleporting. On this particular phase, there's extra stalkers that spawn upstairs, so I'll take those out. Get the captain and all the Ravengers. That's all adds clear, so now we're ready for our next damage. That's roughly, I think that's nearly, I wasn't sure the damage numbers there, but it's a good amount of damage for sure, especially when you can pair shoulder charges back to back. I've got my shoulder charge back. Use a bit of linear. And then we're ready for the next phase. We miss our shoulder charge here, which was unfortunate. Generally, that's another thing they changed with shoulder charge. The shoulder charge has more aim assist, and it's quicker to sort of proc. Which, for the most part, I have experienced that. It does feel a bit more consistent. There, I just missed it. It was just a, you know, a blip, if you like. There's again 2 more snipers. We'll take those out. Once everything's clear in that mid, we can then go ahead with our shoulder charge. Such a fun setup to do. Nice. Then we get the next spawn, which is Ravengers. Monte Carlo actually reloads itself as well, so when you shoot an ad and then you melee, it actually reloads itself, so that's another good thing about it. Take down the final solar captain. Here you can see Monte Carlo's melee ability energy, really exceptional. Like, I've literally just used it and I've got it back. So another thing about this build is it's really ammo efficient. If you notice, I haven't got any ammo finders on. I haven't got any scavengers on. Not that I believe. I don't think I have. It's really good that way. I might have shotgun scav on. I can't remember, but for the most part, you don't have to rely on too much heavy. The build itself will do a lot of damage for you. Now we're on the final phase. You'll get the wave of adds after a bit of damage is dealt. So that's our wave. We can't go back upstairs because there's a bunch of solar knights. So rather than go back upstairs, which is a bit more dangerous, just stay down here with the boss. Which for most strats that you do on the Solar Force Presage, you don't do it like this. You'll take the adds upstairs, but on this sort of setup, it actually pays better to just stay downstairs. Once you clear the adds, it's just you and the boss. So now we're going to farm up another melee in Monte Carlo. Got our melee back. Shotgun's loaded because of auto load and holster. Just time our Peregrine strike. Do our trench bow shots, and that's easy. So it's an easy run on this build for sure. You just need to learn sort of the strat of playing it, and you know, timing your shoulder charges, and your obviously it needs to be inert to get you that damage bonus and things. But that was just a quick run on the Titan there, showcasing this melee build off. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.